Something moved beneath the surface, and suddenly, that stillness was broken. That silence, that peace I so much craved, was taken away before I even had the chance to enjoy it. And so I sat there, waiting for the world to start, wondering why I couldn't stay that still forever. He was gone, but at the same time he was everywhere. I found Landon in every conversation, in every lecture, in every in-between class hallway rush. I don't think I'll ever get used to his absence, but you'll never know what it's like to see him walking down the hall, only to realize it's not him. It will never be him. I sat through class after class. New lectures, new teachers, and I suppose a new me. I used to love school, but now every day felt like it was dragging, and all I wanted was for it to be over.
Good morning, students. I'm so glad to see all of your happy faces this morning. I know the past couple of weeks have been hard on all of us. Well, you have adjusted very well. After you're finished here, please report to homeroom. We have a few changes to some schedules and would like to get those handed out. Thank you.
Hey! Wow, what a gentleman you are.
I get lost in the beauty.
Oh, you again.
Sorry about the hole. I was in a rush and I wasn't paying attention. Rory.
Grace, and it's no big deal.
I just stared for a moment, finally smiling before we both looked away. I realized it then. I was smiling. For the first time in a long time, somebody was able to make me smile, and the least likely of people too. For so long I was told it's not the days you remember, it's the moments. But I remembered more than just one moment of that day. I remember the air and how it had that just rain smell. I remember how cold the floor was when I got out of bed that morning. I remember the color hair tie I used. Because that day wasn't just that moment, the moment I lost him. No, that day was the day I realized how fast your whole world can come screeching to a stop. It stops and you'll do anything to avoid that silence you once felt comfort in, because it always takes you back to that day. So no, I don't just remember him being pulled out of the water, the tears and hysterics, or how my heart felt all swallowed up when the doctor said he was gone. I remember the peace before, and how quickly it was ruined.
Grace.
Sorry, what?
Class is over. We're leaving.
Oh,
Wait, would you like to walk with me to Shakespeare?
I have to go.
Wait, but I want to get to know you.
Trust me, you don't want that.
I do. How about we skip 6th period for a walk?
That sounds great.
We walked over to the lake and listened to the waves gently lap against the shore. He told me about himself and that he had just transferred from some school on the East Coast. He told me about his dad and their dogs and all the summer road trips he could never forget. Rory listened while I went on, and I don't know why it was so easy to talk to him, but it was. I look back on that day, Rory's first day, as mine too, a new beginning. But most of all, I think of it as something I never saw coming. For the next week, Rory found every opportunity to get me out of the house. It was a friendship built on bike rides and old swing sets, and talking until we almost missed curfew. I felt like Landon was back in my life again. It may have only been a few days, but in that short time, I felt that coldness in my heart finally begin to thaw. I felt the old me resurface. For the first time in months, I didn't suppress tears when I said his name. Landon wasn't a word I couldn't bring up in conversation. It wasn't a sore topic. I could talk about it. Genuinely enjoyed talking about the memory of him and our friendship. Rory just listened and laughed as he watched my eyes light up at each recollection of a different memory. He wasn't that rude guy I pegged him as the first day. He understood me and cared to learn who I was and who I wanted to be. There was no guilt, sadness, nor that emptiness I had become accustomed to. About a week later, Rory and I went into town. We stopped at the market and bought a bouquet of flowers. Marigolds. Bright, promising, and joyful. I saw his name. It was hard to picture him down there, beneath the soil and the grass. It's hard to think of how much he loved life and how fast he left. Someday, I would tell my kids of Rory Cade, the boy who not only taught me about true friendship, but taught me that death doesn't mean I get to stop living. Landon was taken from me for a reason I may never know. What I do know is that there's something still left for me here. Not a day goes by where I don't remember my best friend and the summer I lost him. But now I have Rory, and there couldn't have been a better person to help me through such a tough time. Losing Landon taught me to live my days knowing tomorrow isn't promised, and I'm sure that's what he would have wanted for me. For a moment, I swear I could feel him there. And I knew that he'd always be watching, from wherever it is that angels go.
So come home.
The next morning, I met Rory at the lake, and we watched the early sunrise. Something moved beneath the surface of the water, but for the first time, I didn't resent the idea of a new day, and I ran to the bus stop, Rory barely being able to keep up.
Everything I see, the world ain't half